Okay, guys, when it comes to financial planning, you should not be doing this in a vacuum. Again, I'm not going to give you financial advice or legal advice. What I'm going to give you are tools and resources so you know where to go and what questions you need to be asking as you're developing these plans. When it comes to purchasing life insurance, making investments, deciding power of attorney for healthcare, for your finances, how do I do a will? Should I have a trust? These are things that should be happening with a village that you've created. And your village should consist of what I call, well, I didn't call it, but what Phil called the triangle defense. I'm from Chicago. The Bulls, Michael Jordan, Coach Phil, he came up with that triangle defense. Because remember, Jordan was there for years before he won something. And even though Jordan was top tier, the GOAT from Chicago, we ain't arguing on that point. Love everybody else, but Jordan, going back, triangle defense. Jordan was there forever. Couldn't bring home a championship because guess what? It can't be just one person. You need that team. Now, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. Oh, hey. You need your triangle defense. What does your triangle defense look like? Your financial advisor or planner, your accountant or tax attorney, tax preparer. Probably it should be an accountant. And 3, your estate's attorney. And here is why I say you need all 3, because a lot of it's interconnected. So to do things and not to just set up a will and not have talked to your financial advisor or planner about what you're planning on doing, particularly if you are planning on setting up a trust. If your trust is going to hold financial assets, your estate's attorney and financial advisor, there should, like, even if they're not talking, you should have already talked to them, and they should, like, the financial advisor should be like, you need to let your estate's attorney know these are the assets, yada yada yada. And also, when it comes to estate planning for wills and trusts, the laws vary depending on the state you're in. So you might want to do something that somebody else is doing in another state that technically won't work for you. So this is why you want to have that team together, and your accountant is going to be helpful to help you regarding tax liability. I'm going to mention this one point. There's going to be a separate series just on life insurance. Typically, if you are the beneficiary of a life insurance policy, if someone dies, you get the proceeds from the life insurance policy. Typically, that is not taxable. If you have, like I said, typically it's not taxable, and that's with term life policies. I'm going to have a separate thing on life insurance. Just follow. If you have a permanent life insurance policy that has cash value, and that cash value has earned, you may have to pay taxes on the cash value. This is where having your accountant and your financial advisor talk to each other benefits you. You want to make sure that you're making the best holistic decisions for you, and that's going to change depending on your finances, where you are in your life. Did you just start a family, or are you more an empty nest? Your financial plan is going to change at different points of your life. If you're single and you're out there having a good time, maybe you're heavy into investing in probably more riskier investments. Then you started a family, so you're doing a little bit, you're not so conservative, or you've already he's like, I want to be more conservative. But that's a conversation that needs to be happening in tandem. Your financial advisor, your estate's attorney, your accountant. Okay? All right. So when it comes to like our financial planning, whether or not you're buying life insurance, you're figuring out where to invest, you're trying to do a 529 plan for your kids, you need to consider children, marriage, divorce, retirement, caring for aging parents. All of that is going to factor in. And these 3 experts will be helpful in helping you make the right choices for your situation. And remember, as your situations, these major life events happen, you should have a check-in with all these three people. I got married, I got divorced, we adopted, we had kids, someone died, we sold the house, we're buying a house. All that's going to impact all of these three people. You need to be talking to them. So I'm buying a house. Do I qualify for the homeowner's credit? We just sold a house, and or we bought stock. Someone died and I inherited a lot. Do I have to pay estate tax? Is there going to be capital gains? All of these questions can only be answered, by you need to have those three people, because depending on your tax bracket, it's going to change. A lot's going to happen, and those three people will help you make the best decision. So the first thing, financial advisor or financial planner. So the difference between a certified financial planner and a financial advisor is this: a certified financial planner has taken classes and courses, and they have credentials. And also, your certified financial planner has a fiduciary responsibility, a fiduciary duty to you, meaning that they can't operate against your best interests. A financial advisor can give you financial advice. They may, have certificates, but if they're not a CFP, certified financial planner, there may be questions about whether or not they owe you a fiduciary duty. And again, do your own due diligence. I'm not saying that, if you have a financial advisor that's not a CFP, you shouldn't listen to them. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is find out which person works best for you, okay? If they are a certified financial planner, you can go to the CFP board's website and look them up, okay? When you're dealing with a financial planner or financial advisor, I'm going to use them interchangeably, it is like they're like your primary. They're the primary person in this triangle defense that you're going to be having the most contact with, because one, your lawyer's charged by the hour. So does your accountant. Your financial planner advisor probably works on a fee arrangement where they only get a small percentage of your investment take back or whatever. Also, you need to have a discussion with them about what the fee arrangement is. So when you're sitting down with your financial planner and advisor, it's going to be like you're dealing with your primary care physician and you're doing your annual check-in. So there's going to be an intake. Okay, we got to go over past financial history. Did you have bankruptcies? What's going on? Are you good with money? Are you not? Are you a conservative investor? Are you a risky investor? What are your goals for life? Because with your financial advisor, you should be setting short-term financial goals and long-term goals. I want to retire. I want to retire abroad. That there's certain people, when they retire, they just cruise hop. They live on ships. You can do that. Talk to your financial planner advisor about that. So, do you have enough life insurance? Do you have long-term care? There's a separate series on long-term care and life insurance. Do you have enough disability insurance? Do you need it? These are questions that you should be talking to your financial advisor about. What types of, if you have life insurance, do you need term life? Do you need permanent life? Which vehicle works best for you? And again, depending on whether you're a conservative investor, risky investor or not, that's going to vary. And your financial advisor should be able to walk you through these steps. And if you're like, I can't afford a financial advisor, I'm going to repeat this again. If you have a bank or credit union, most of the time they have free financial planning counseling services. If you have a 401k or a pension plan, whoever holds or manages that account typically also has free financial planning counseling services. Avail yourself of the free resources before you go and shell out money. So like I said, your financial advisor or financial planner is probably going to be your main point of contact. They're going to be your Jordan. That's going to be your point person. Now we got Pippin and Rodman. I will say that Pippin is going to be your accountant, because Rodman, he checked. When you bring in Rodman, you bring in the guns. I'm a lawyer. People call us sharks. So I'm going to say that your lawyer is going to be your Rodman. So your accountant, like I said, just to back up, your financial advisor is going to act like your primary care physician. You're going to be checking in. You're going to get a comprehensive everything, and then you can have an individualized care plan for short-term and long-term goals based on your finances, your budgets, your goals, and your risk tolerance. Now, your financial advisor then says, hey, you need to check in with the specialist about your taxes and all this other stuff, whether or not you're going to have some tax liability. And then he's going to say, there might be some legal issues that need to be addressed. Run to that estate's attorney. So those are your specialties. Okay? So our Pippin is your accountant or tax professional, because certain vehicles, if you have certain investments, you may have to pay taxes on those, but there are ways to minimize your tax liability. If you have if you have permanent life insurance that has cash value, there could be some tax liabilities there. Or how can you get some tax deferred benefits? How do you lower your tax liability? This is where you want to talk to an accountant. Did you start a business? How does that impact your business, your professional business, impact your own? We have a lot of people doing gig work and they're doing side hustles. Are you a social media influencer? Guess what? That revenue, if you monetize your website and you're getting revenue from subscriptions, donations, etc., you have a tax liability. How do you handle it? Has your child, as a high school athlete or college athlete, do they have NIL deals? Name, image, likeness. That needs to be run by an accountant. So how do you address the tax liability there? So if you have life insurance, again, like I said, if you have permanent life insurance, there could be some tax liabilities if you have permanent life insurance where there's a cash value. Did you take a loan out on the cash value? Did you do a cash value surrender? Like I said, separate series on life insurances and the different nuances, run to that one. So this is where having an accountant or tax professional in your life is going to be helpful. One of the things that I say is I don't know of a good accountant or something like that. Here's the thing. If there's a state university nearby you, they probably have a graduate MBA program, and it most likely has a clinic that will probably offer free tax advice or something like that. Avail yourself of free resources. And there's always nonprofits that do assist. You can go to the Certified Public Accountants Association. They probably have pro bono services that are available to you. And all right, now we're going to hit to Rodman, your estate's attorney. Now, all attorneys do not do estate work. I am a litigator. And even though I'm a litigator, I only do certain types of litigation. So you want, technically, even though lawyers are considered general practitioners, most of us specialize. You want to find somebody that does wills and estates. That's their specialty. They will know what is best, how best to cater your will, setting up a trust for you. And trusts are not just for the wealthy. What it looks like and what needs to be included. So your estate planner is going to make sure you have your wills documents. It's going to make sure you have your power of attorney for healthcare. They're going to make sure you have your power of attorney for finances. Something happens, you get injured, you need to have a surgery. If you've ever had major surgery, even if the prognosis of the outcome is supposed to be good, when you fill out those papers, they say, there's a potential that this could go left. Do you have a will in place in case this goes left? They will have you, should we do a DNR? Those documents, you don't want to be worried about that when you're about to have a surgery. You want to make sure that that stuff is already done, and your estate's attorney is going to help you get all of that done holistically. If you have minor children, you need a guardianship document. Not even saying you die. If something happens and you are temporarily disabled or injured and cannot take care of your child because you need to be in rehab, whether or not you have a spouse or not. What plan have you put in place to make sure that your minor child, or maybe you have an adult child that has special needs that you care for, who's going to come in and handle that if you get disabled, you're injured, you're hospitalized? Who's going to manage those affairs for you? This is where your estate's attorney is going to walk you through all of this. And these are the conversations, if they don't mention it, you should be asking them. Okay? You want to come prepared. I'm going to mention life insurance. One, you need to have a will. You should have a will. Have a will that outlines what your wishes are and where you want things to go. Having a will helps you avoid probate. If you don't have a will and you die and you own a home and all these other assets, guess what? Then your heirs and loved ones have to go to court, pay for a lawyer, pay the fees and all this other stuff to decide what happens. Even if you just like, the only thing I have is a house. Well, guess what? They're going to probably have to shell out a whole bunch of money for a lawyer to make sure the house is in their name because you didn't do anything. Have you been divorced? Are you legally separated? Now, I'm going to mention this. I've ran across several people who were like, I thought they were divorced. They're like, no, I'm separated. I was like, oh. I was like, you did change power of attorney, right? You mentioned that the person you separated against you didn't like no more and they were kind of a horrible person. I was like, as a married person, it is assumed by law that your spouse is the person that will make decisions for you in case of your mental incapacity. So I was like, did you, like, they don't want to get divorced for religious reasons or whatever. But I'm like, that being the case, if something happens to you legally, that person that you don't like can make those changes unless you've done a power of attorney for health care or a power of attorney for finances. Conversations that you need to have with your estate's attorney. Do you have children? Like, you've been married, you had kids with the first husband, you remarried, you have kids with the second spouse. Have you made sure that those kids are taken care of? I have seen horrible situations where they're children from different spouses, and you get a Cinderella situation happens where one child is taken care of and the other child has not. Make sure you looked after your minors and your children. Okay? And this is where your estate's attorney is going to help you with all of this. Like I said, I mentioned power of attorney for healthcare, your financial affairs in case you're incapacitated. And again, what life insurance do you have? Guardianship for your minors. And you do know it's a bad idea to make your minor the beneficiary of your life insurance plan, which is why you should have a trust. And your estate's attorney can help you file a trust. Questions about minors and guardianship and life insurance, there's an article for that on Rondaisms.com. Do you have, for your investment accounts, do you have a POD or a TOD, payable on death or transfer on death, for your investment account, for your 401k, for your bank account? So that if something happens to you, you don't have to worry about nefarious relatives or loved ones coming in trying to take it over, because the bank already knows that should you die, this is who takes over the account. These are all things that a good estate's attorney will have for you. And also setting up a trust. I know, like I said, I'm gonna have a separate video just on this thing. But when it comes to trust, probably the thing that scares people the most is the cost. And it can cost around about $1,600, $2,000, $3,000, depending on where you live, to have an estate's attorney set up a trust account for you. But there's so many benefits to having a trust. A will is good, but a trust, talk to your estate's attorney. It's just that, it's like your will is fine, but there's certain things that you cannot dictate within the will. And this is where your estate's attorney will tell you, like the example I give of a trust. You guys seen the movie Rain Man with Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman? And Tom Cruise is upset. Dad dies. Dad only gives him the vintage car, but everything's left in trust to Raymond. And he's like, well, I'm going to take custody of Raymond, and so I get the funds. What he didn't know, Dad set up a trust. And the trustee is the person that manages the trust. So even if he had physical custody of Raymond, the trustee managed all the funds. That's one of the best benefits for a trust. So like if you have a special needs child, a trust is a good way, particularly they're going to get older. Who's going to take care of your adult special needs child? A trust is a good way to do that. I know people who have set up trusts like, they have minor kids. If they die, they've set up in a trust where it outlines, okay, we'll pay for college. But child has to have a certain GPA to continue to get those funds. So like I said, you can be as detailed as you want in a trust. It will protect particularly your children, your minor children. If you have special needs children, a trust is a good vehicle. Talk to your estate's attorney for your particular situation. Okay? All right. I'm going through to make sure. All right. Bottom line. You need your triangle defense. You need yourself a financial planner or advisor. You need an accountant, a tax preparer. You need an estate's attorney. The three of them, that triangle defense. Now see, now we're getting this whole investing in ourselves and our holistic plan together. All right? Get your triangle defense down. Scotty, Michael, Dennis, get it together. Get it together, people. 2025, we are getting our ish together. All right.